Hey y'all, welcome back to another weekly devotional. I am super excited for this week's devotional because we are going to be unpacking Jesus' first miracle. We're going to be in John chapter 2 verses 3 through 9, and I'm coming from the easy read version. I'm not going to read this full thing because it is quite long, but I am going to pull out some key parts from the verses. But make sure you guys go back and read over this as always, like I encourage you guys to do, so that you can get all that you need to get from it. To paraphrase what's going on as Jesus' first miracle, he's at a wedding in Cana and they have ran out of wine. And so in this culture, the man in charge of the feast wants the good wine. They want the good stuff, the stuff that's gonna make them feel good and have a great time, right? They didn't have any more. And so Jesus' mother calls on him to ask him to do something about the fact that these people ain't got no more wine and they still gotta serve the man in charge. So what Jesus does is he tells the servants to fill up these jars with water. And by the time they take the water to the man in charge, he tastes it and it is the best wine. In fact, this man says that you save the best wine for last. So we're going to talk about this whole situation and how the miracles of Jesus can be very sudden. So the first thing is we need to understand that with Jesus, when you can't see the process, you can trust that you will see the results. Many of us are in a process of a shift, right? Things are changing, our lives are changing, seasons are changing, a lot of things outside of our control, but nonetheless, it's changing. And for some of us, it can seem like the things that Jesus is telling us to do does not make any sense. Like, how is this going to produce anything? And I could just imagine myself, if I was one of them people that was filling these jars with water and the issue was that I need wine, why is this man telling me to fill up these jars with water? How is water going to get me some wine? And if we're being honest, a lot of us are like that with the Lord, with what he asks us to do. Like, God, how is this going to get me the money? How is this going to get me the relationship? How is this going to get me the whatever it is that you want or that you may need from the Lord? And he's telling you to do something that seems as though it doesn't matter. But the thing about doing life with Jesus is all he requires of us is obedience. He doesn't even require us to understand him because most of the time we won't. But what he does require is obedience. Just do what I told you to do, even if it doesn't make sense to you. Jesus is the one responsible for making your obedience a miracle. That's not on us. That's why we can have faith the size of a grain of a mustard seed and still be able to speak to a mountain and tell it to be moved, because it's not about our little faith. It's about who our little faith is being put into. And so the first thing I really want to do is encourage you to keep pouring your water. There are some things that the Lord has called you to do and asked you to do, and it feels worthless. It feels pointless. It feels like it's not getting you anywhere. It even seems like there are better roads that you could take. There are better things that you can do to get the results that you know you need to get, but you know you would be being disobedient to the Lord, and you know that that's not what the Lord specifically told you to do. And I'm here to encourage you that your water matters. The little small things, the little confusing things, the things that seems like it's doing nothing at all is the very thing that Jesus is going to take and turn into what you need. And just think about it. Since when has God created paths that lead to nowhere? He quite literally split a sea open to create a path for his people to escape. He created a path of what they needed. But guess where that started? Holding up a staff. Did it seem like that was gonna do anything to the waters? Absolutely not. But that was the instructions. And so please do not discount the instructions that the Lord has given you, because you're not seeing what he's gonna turn it into. You only see what it is right now. And I also wanna speak to the fact that I know that this can be discouraging. I know sometimes it is hard to sit in a process of obeying God and seeming like it's doing nothing. It feels like you're literally running into a brick wall over and over and over again. Like you going in circles, like you taking 2 steps forward just to get knocked 5 steps back. But the whole time you're being obedient to the Lord. And this reminds me of the fact that we will reap a harvest if we don't faint. It is so important to stay encouraged and to not walk in frustration. I don't care if you gotta watch this video over again. I don't care if you gotta phone a friend. I don't care if you gotta pray through it, cry through it, whatever you gotta do. Keep your heart encouraged to know that obedience is better. Keep your heart encouraged to know that you don't have to walk in frustration because you have access to peace. Even though your situation around you is not changing, you serve a God who will change at the drop of a dime. Whenever his timing aligns with when he's ready to perform that miracle in your life, he will do it. And you know what's so beautiful about this passage is that in verse 9, it says, the water had become wine. He did not know where the wine came from, but the servants who brought the water knew. This process is really for you to know that Jesus is who he says he is. The person that got the wine don't know where it came from, don't know how it happened, but you will know how it happened. You will have a testimony to say nobody did it but God. He is going to be able to get glory from this story that he is giving you. Don't y'all know that's the only reason why God sets the stage like this? So that he can get the glory at the end of the day, so that he can shine his light through your life, so that other people will see and come to know him and believe him. That's why Jesus performed these miracles, not just so he could show off, and not just because he loves and cares about us, but also so that people would believe. The story that you are going to have after pouring your water that you are thinking is worthless is going to bring so much glory to the Lord. You have absolutely no idea how many more lives you will transform, how many more lives your water that's turned into wine will make and be a solution for other people. It's deeper than you, baby, but it's also important for you to know and for you to understand that this was only because of the Lord. And that is why the enemy fights your obedience so hard, because he does not want you to have more evidence of how great God already is. He doesn't want people to be delivered from your life, from your testimony, because like I said, it's always deeper than you. It has never been just about you. So your obedience is connected to somebody else's breakthrough, somebody else's deliverance, somebody else's opportunity to know Jesus for who he really is, who he truly is. And that's why the Lord is speaking to me and giving this revelation about the sudden miracle, because he needs his children to be encouraged again about their obedience. And I know that a lot of times we have experiences with the Lord where our obedience brings instant results, but sometimes you're not going to see a gradual process. Sometimes the process is happening inside of you. Sometimes it's happening around you in places you can't see, but the process is happening. You're just only gonna see it suddenly. And it's in those moments that you have to truly keep your feet footed in peace, and your feet have to be footed in faith. You have to trust that you have a God who is not going to fail you and is not going to just send you out there on the sea, on the water by yourself and leave you to drown. That's not even in his character to do. That ain't even who he is. And so you know that that's not going to be the case. So when you can't see the process, know that you are going to see the results. And then the Lord made me realize how special the water is. Like I told you guys throughout this video, we think that our water is pointless. We think it's worthless. We think it ain't doing nothing. It's not great enough. Maybe that one small thing you did, nobody saw it, and so you don't think it matters. Or maybe you've been helping behind the scenes, or maybe you've been putting in a whole lot of effort and it seems like you've been getting nowhere. So you've been discounting your water. But the water is what's special. The water is what Jesus is going to use. He told them to fill up these large jars with just water when they needed wine. Your water, your obedience, your faith, your perseverance, that all matters to Jesus. He cares that you are putting in all the effort that you possibly can to obey him. And we have a Father who has a character of helping us, right? Check this. He helps us to obey him just so that when we obey him, he can turn around and bless us and make sure that we eat from the good of the land. You don't get a better Father than that, who sets you up to do what he's asked you to do, because he said that when you do what he asked asks you to do, he will bless you. And so please know that your water, your obedience, your faith, those things that you are doing when it seems like you're not getting anything from it, the Lord sees you and he's so proud of you, and it makes his heart happy to look down on a child who is willing to obey him above anything else. So do not sit on what you are doing. Do not think that what you're doing is wasteful. Remember Isaiah 43:18-19? The Lord said he is making ways in the wilderness. He is making streams in the wasteland. Even the things that you want to throw away, the Lord can make something out of it. So do not think that what you are doing is not special to the Lord, because it is. And I need you to understand that you will see it suddenly. A lot of us have been pouring, sometimes for years, for months, for however long we've been pouring, however hard we've been pouring, and we haven't seen anything happen. But suddenly, somebody gonna take some wine from your water. Suddenly means happening without warning and occurring quickly, abruptly, hastily. It's gonna happen so fast, you're gonna be like, dang, Jesus, how you do that? But you gotta give the Lord some water to work with. I'm a very type A person. I like to see all the details. I like to plan it out, write it down, have everything knit granny. I go back and I check my work to see, why didn't this work? What could I do better? That's the type of person I am. But with Jesus, sometimes you don't get to be that person. You don't get to see the behind the scenes of his process, because that's the point of it being a miracle. It has nothing to do with you. It's literally not your business. This is something that is going to just happen. So don't be discouraged even by the time that it is taking. Even if it seems like you've wasted time or you have lost time, Jesus can act so suddenly that he will make all the time and all the effort that you put into obeying him beyond worth your while. So what I want you guys to take from this devotional is to keep pouring your water. Keep obeying the Lord. Keep walking in faith and not by sight, and keep believing and keep trusting that your Father is going to come through with some wine for you. No matter how insane his instructions may seem, or even how irrelevant they may seem to what you need, you gotta trust that he knows what he is doing and that he's leading you down this direction so that you can learn to trust him and so that you can see him for who he truly is. I pray that you guys are encouraged after listening to this video today. I know that I was encouraged once the Lord dropped that on my heart, because I've been dealing with this personally, feeling like a lot of my efforts have been getting me nowhere, and even wanting to explore other avenues because I have a need that I know other avenues could sustain. But I had to be reminded, thank God that he is such a father who is so gracious to remind us of his word, that being obedient to him is the best path that I can be on. And soon I'm going to see all the water that I am pouring turn into the wine that not only I need, but that other people need too. Comment down below, you guys, what stood out to you in this meditation, any revelations that you received. If you're struggling with the same things, let's just talk about it down in the comments, because like I always tell you guys, we are a community learning to walk this thing out with the Lord together. Make sure you guys check the description box for the prayer line information, because I am on the prayer line with my church every Friday at 6 a.m. sharing these devotionals live in real time, and we also pray together there. I love you guys so much. Remember, be encouraged and continue pouring your water, and I will see you in a new video next week. Mwah!